We are late. We totally lost track of time and kind of forgot about you guys, so I totally apologize. Today is Facebook Live at our Milton Grove Road location. We are still in January when I'm recording this, which is National Dog Training Month, National Train Your Dog Month. And we decided that we would join you live from our Milton Grove Road location to talk about the importance of dog training. It's one of the most important things that you as a pet parent can do to set your dog up for a lifetime of success. We talk about that a lot. I use that phrase a lot. And it is really important. If you want to have a happy, healthy, well-balanced dog that is, I use the word neutral, that's neutral and is going to adapt to all kinds of situations and environments. They're going to not be reactive on a leash or when you take them into public. They're going to be a joy to take places and a pleasure to spend time with. You need to spend a little bit of time training them. So we are here today at Milton Grove Road, and I am joined with one of our certified dog trainers, McKenna. And she works at this location primarily, although she does help over at Hershey Road a little bit sometimes. But her job is to work with dogs that are staying with us for stay and train, for day training, and also for our Pawsitive Experiences program. So she is working right now with Penny. So we're going to talk a little bit with McKenna about our Stay and Train program. So this pup and her brother, sister, Penny and Rosie?
Yep.
Okay, so Penny and Rosie went through our Stay and Train program. They did the 2-week version?
1 week.
1 week. So we have two different options. We have a 1-week Stay and Train that is 7 days, and then we have a 2-week option that is 14 days. So her Penny and her sister did our 7-day version of our Stay and Train last year.
Yes.
And she was how old then? Do you remember?
Only about 6-7 months.
Okay, so she was going into her adolescence, and I'm guessing mom wanted to work on specific obedience, or did she have, do you remember what her ultimate goals were?
So I think it's still a goal of theirs. They eventually want Penny to be able to be a therapy dog and go to nursing homes and things like that. So kind of just building that up as a puppy, that socialization, so she wasn't fearful around new things. And her sister was kind of just along for the ride. Sure. She's a little older, but they were
still
having
want some positive behaviors. And
they were having some little issues at home with her. She's a smaller one, but they both did really well in that. But that was their goal with her.
Okay.
And now she's kind of just refreshing every so often on everything learned.
So is she here today for a day train, or are they boarding with us right now?
She's here for a day train today.
Okay. So a lot of pet parents will just use us for day training. And day training, they drop off in the morning, and then your dog gets training sessions with McKenna throughout the day. And we usually incorporate some extra enrichment activities into our day trains also. Good girl. So it is a really great way to keep up with those skills. So they both did the Stay and Train, and then after the Stay and Train, so let's talk a little bit, I want to jump around too much. So when we're doing a Stay and Train, we have a pretty set curriculum, whether it's 7 days or 14 days. So what are the biggest things that you focus on?
We run through a lot of basic manners, starting pretty simple, just to kind of build up that relationship with me and the environment, and then we kind of go from there. We focus a lot on leash manners, walking nicely on leash, work a lot with distractions, so they're not only trained to listen in quiet environments. We work a lot with added distractions in, but just really building up basic manners in different ways you can use them in home, so they're not just there for nothing.
Right.
But kind of creating real life situations to use everything in.
Okay, yeah, and that's critical, because what we do here in this environment will be very different from what might happen at your house, in your neighborhood. You might have a dog at home that barks out the window or that pulls you on the leash. So some of that is going to translate, and McKenna can help instill those good positive behaviors. She can start with one of the biggest complaints is leash jumping, leash manners or jumping on guests. So those are things that she certainly can create and duplicate that behavior here. But then it has to be transferred over to the pet parent. So as part of our Stay and Train programs, you have videos that you provide pet parents, and you work closely with them. Tell me a little bit about the communication then.
So they get their doggy diaries during their stay. That kind of keeps parents updated with how they're doing here and where we're at. And then at the end of each Stay and Train, they'll get their videos. And then with the 7-day, typically a week or two after, parents come back to facility and meet with me for like 30 minutes, kind of see how things are going, if there's any areas they're struggling with. And then with the 14-day, I'll go to their house for an hour and kind of similar, but more intensive since the 14-day is more intensive as well. Kind of see them in their own environment, how they're acting, and where parents are struggling as well.
Right.
And then I communicate with most of them pretty frequently, kind of see where they're at, if there's anything that since they've been home, even a month or two later, how things are going.
Good.
Anything they need to specifically work on again.
And do pet parents reach out to you if there's questions or
all the
they
time.
like some ideas or how you can help with certain behaviors?
Definitely.
And then one of our suggestions normally is to continue keeping the skills fresh. You want to do some day trains. And we have pet parents that come in every week, right? Once a week, twice a week. What's most common that you see?
I'd say typically twice a week. I see that frequently for a month or two, and then I do have a few that we'll do once a week for really extended periods of time, however long the parents want, just kind of working on whatever they tell me. But I always communicate with them to kind of see like, okay, we worked on this, how's it going at home? Off. And then they'll give me new things like, yeah, this is good, but like now let's work on this, and we kind of just build it from there. But Penny's one of the ones that we just kind of keep up her basic manners, her socialization, since she's going into that adolescence phase.
Yeah, because now she would be a year and a half or so.
Yeah, roughly. I think a year and a couple months now.
Yeah. So her pet parents like to keep up just to make sure that that training is fresh in her mind and that she is staying on her puppy A game. How about it, Penny? She's very cute. And if her mom wants to help her become a therapy dog and they want to become a therapy team, she's going to need to be a very well-behaved pup. You know, the places that you'd go with the dogs, whether it is a nursing home or working with children or whatever it might be, they don't want a dog that's jumping or leaping or barking. So did her mom give you specific behaviors, or you're just working to instill the things that you know would be important as a therapy dog?
Just kind of the things I know. Jumping on people was a big one, which I do believe it still is, that she, not as much now, but she still struggles with. And a little bit of her leash manners, and she's kind of getting to that age with adolescence now where even the stuff she's learned, she's getting stubborn with. So we're kind of just refreshing all of that to kind of get that stubbornness out, since she likes to pretend she doesn't know it now at this age. But very quickly she picks back up on everything.
Good. Now, do you use the platform? So we use these they're called Climbs with a K, K-L-I-M-B, Climb platforms. We use them a lot in the facility at both locations as a platform or a place for the dog to be. Do you use this with most of your dogs when you're training them?
Typically, yes.
Okay. And how do you transfer that to the pet parent? Because most pet parents don't have a Climb at home. Do you teach place command or something similar?
When I teach place, I kind of use multiple different things just because I can't ensure that a parent's going to want to go out and buy a Climb to use or want this in their living room.
They are very handy though. I have one at my house, and I can tell my Great Dane to hop up onto it, to wait for feeding, to wait for somebody to come in the door, and she does enjoy she feels safe up there, I think. So they are handy. Good job.
Yeah, I'll use a few different things. I'll use one of these. I'll use just a regular dog bed, a rug, one of our Corunda beds, just to kind of diversify the place command, so they don't go home and look for just the Climb. They can associate it with other items.
Right, that's smart. And then a pet parent can also just find a mat or something at home to make that your dog's consistent place. Do you think it's beneficial for a pet parent at home to have a consistent spot where they teach their dog to go to?
Yeah, definitely. It can help, if they need to calm down a little bit, if they need a place to settle. It can be just their area that they don't have to share with, human siblings, if you have kids at home, different things like that. So it's beneficial for a lot of different reasons, definitely.
So if somebody has 2 dogs, like they have Penny and Rosie, would you recommend 2 separate spots for each dog?
Typically, yes, just because then they have their own areas. If they, like Rosie is older. If Penny's puppy energy is too much and she wants to get away, having her own area where Penny doesn't go is definitely beneficial and can kind of help that relationship so that Penny isn't pestering her, Rosie's not getting mad at her, those different things.
Yeah. Good thought. Now let's talk a little bit. So during Stay and Train, that we said we have a 7-day version and a 14-day version. The 7-day is focused more on simple behaviors. What's the big difference between the 2 programs?
So I'd say the biggest difference is that with the 14-day, you can really narrow in on problem areas since there is extended time, and you can add more to them, such as added distractions, the duration, the distance, really improve them as high as you can get them. With the 7-day, we still do all of that. It just can't be as advanced as far because there's not as much time.
Right.
And the 14-day, I'd say, adds a few things that aren't in the 7-day, but for the most part, I think it's just being able to really focus on problem areas and improve them. Good girl.
Because there's always going to be things that a dog will grasp pretty quickly, right? Most dogs pick up sit or down or wait, but something like, and I'm not a trainer, so I'm just throwing stuff out from my dog training, my years of owning dogs. Jumping on people tends to be a big challenge. Walking nicely on the leash is something everybody's looking for. But there maybe a dog counter surfs. Maybe you have a crazy Great Dane, like I do, and they counter surf. So every pet parent has a training goal. So with our 14-day Stay and Train, can a pet parent say, hey, I really want you to focus on walking nicely on the leash or not jumping, and you can put a little bit more time and effort into that?
Yeah, if they have specifics that they really want worked on, then I can kind of rearrange the curriculum to give a little extra time to those areas that they really want worked on, while still being able to work through everything else. It kind of has more wiggle room with that curriculum than just the 7-day, but it's still possible with the 7-day. 14
days is a really nice time period. It can be a very intensive training. It's much more comprehensive. We can cover a lot, like McKenna said, and she can really work on building a whole different set of distractions and really honing in and fine-tuning the behaviors. So what is often, I think, very beneficial is when people do that 14-day Stay and Train, and then they do continue, like we're talking about, with day training sessions afterwards, because that's when you can really say, okay, we're going to tackle leash manners, or we're going to work on that Great Dane's counter surfing, or whatever the problem may be. So there's a lot of ability to kind of fine-tune things and really hone in on what you, the pet parent, wants and what your training goals might be. So let's talk real quick before we wrap it up today about our Pawsitive Experiences training. So that is also a day training program. We designed this a couple years ago because we were seeing more and more shy, timid, nervous dogs. It's the post-COVID dog that everybody talks about, that dogs during, the people adopted during COVID and beyond, they just don't have the confidence that dogs used to, back in the old days. So when we get a dog for Pawsitive Experiences, so let's talk about 2 things. What type of dog, when you're doing a training evaluation, what type of dog would you recommend Pawsitive Experiences for?
It can honestly be a lot of different things. I've had some that they're completely fine with me and all the staff, but if we see another dog, they're terrified. It could be that they don't want to be in this building at all, but they see another dog and they're super happy, but with me or the environment, they're not happy at all. So I typically will recommend it if they need a little bit of confidence in the environment, with new people, with new dogs, new situations, really any of those. If they seem fine in every situation, I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
But it's typically, if at least one of those areas they seem uncomfortable, uncertain, I would recommend that to kind of build up that confidence and focus on helping them get comfortable with those situations.
Right, right. And most dogs adapt pretty quickly, and normally our Pawsitive Experiences Day Training program is 2 weeks, usually 2 or 3 weeks. We can really tailor it to best meet your dog's needs though. So if you have a super shy, timid dog that is lacking confidence, 1 or 2 sessions might not be enough. It might take 2 weeks or 3 weeks, so we can extend it and make it a little bit longer. But do you find that most dogs adapt pretty quickly and that they respond and build confidence?
I do, for the most part, yes. I've had a few that typically only like once or twice, that I wasn't really seeing the progress and that the environment was just too much for them, that then I recommended they do private training outside of here, but that hasn't happened often. For the most part, I see at least a little bit of confidence start to come out even in just the first day. That kind of lets me know, like, okay, that we can
continue
make progress. But for the most part, I've seen almost all the dogs in the program make good steps each day, even if it's just little progress, like a tiny tail wag.
Well, and that's what we look for. It doesn't have to be a huge, big thing. For a dog that is lacking confidence, that's shy, that's timid, that might have some anxiety issues, those little tiny steps are just that glimmer that we need to show that the dog has the potential, And every dog has potential, but some of them just take a little bit longer. They might need a little more TLC. They might need a little bit more patience. So that's the benefit of our Pawsitive Experiences program, because our trainers at both locations work with these shy, timid dogs, and they can take their time and they can build. That doesn't have a set curriculum.
No.
It's kind of built around the needs of each individual dog. So we can really tailor it to best meet that dog's specific needs. And then we can adjust as we go. So, and we do that, I think, with any dog training. You have to adjust, you have to sometimes pivot, you have to you have to come up with a different plan based on the needs of the dog. Every dog is different, just like us humans. So it's really finding what works best for each specific dog. So Nicole's our camera operator, as is most of the time she is. Do we have anybody live with us or having questions?
No questions. We've had a couple people live with us off and on.
Okay. So McKenna, what would you say? I'm going to put you on the spot. What are the top 2 or 3 things that a pet parent should consider when they're looking for a dog training program?
I would look at specific programs. You want them to be tailored to really what you want worked on. Like if your dog is jumping on people, you want to sign them up for Pawsitive Experience. If they're going to be coming to a facility like they would here, I would definitely, make sure that that facility has a good reputation, all those different things. You don't want to traumatize your puppy. And, I always look for good communication skills. You want to kind of know what your dog's doing and what you should do next. You don't want to just kind of be in the dark and have no idea what's going on. So good communication with the trainers, which I know at daycare and here, we all do that pretty well, keep them updated. But
we want to keep pet parents updated at all times. And I think the most important thing, and if you've ever seen my videos with Maria Stauffer, who owns Full Potential Dog Training, she is our training director here at Playful Pups, but she also owns Full Potential. She will often say that we can only do so much here. Our trainers can only do so much. They work in this environment. They're not working at your house. So we need to be able to instill those basic behaviors and to help establish that solid foundation. But you, the pet parent, you're the ones that are going to need to do the heavy lifting, We can really set things up for success, set every dog up for success, but then it has to transfer home. And you can't expect the dog to be perfect coming out of a stay and train, even a 14-day stay and train. You are going to have to do some work at home to help instill those behaviors also. So that is a critical component of dog training as well. What do you think? Penny girl. She's like, I just love the treats. I just love the treats. All right, so that is the basics on our Stay and Train. We talked a little bit about our day training program, which is a little bit different. And then we touched briefly on our Pawsitive Experiences Day Training program, which is for that shy, timid dog. We have a lot of different training options. We also offer group classes at our Hershey Road location. And we are talking about some new training related things that I won't share it yet because it's kind of a secret until we fine-tune the plan. But we want to be here to be your partners with your dogs to help set them up for the greatest level of success. And we have McKenna is one of several trainers, and we've got two certified trainers at this location, somebody else going to dog training school at this location right now. The other location has, I can't remember, I lose count. We have 2 or 3 people going through Catch Training Academy right now. So we are really committed to growing our dog training program, and we're excited to be part of your journey with your dog. So we want to thank you for joining us live today at Milton Grove Road. We will be live in 2 weeks, I think. I haven't looked at the calendar. I'm out of town, so I have to look and make sure it's not going to interfere. But we will be live at Hershey Road talking about something fun. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but we will come up with some good topic to help educate you from our Hershey Road location next time. Hey, Ariana, pass me that puppy. I'm going to give you a peek real quick. If you have followed my Facebook Lives with our safari litter, we'll sign off with this perfect baby face. She wants to play with Penny. She wants to play with Penny. But this is baby zebra in our
I'm going to find my phone.
in our safari litter.
so
I am
brave.
currently fostering this baby girl. And yeah, she says, I don't care about you at all. I want to play with Penny. I want to play with Penny.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Fall over, your face.
But for you guys that were following our Saturday Facebook Lives with Mama Safari and her babies, I thought I would give you a peek at this wiggle worm. She is now 9 weeks old, and she wants to play really badly with Penny. But I don't know that Penny is going to know what to do with you because you are frisky.
You got it, Penny.
Here, let's put you up here. Yeah, Penny's not so sure. But baby Zebe wants to party. Say, I'm looking for a friend. Don't fall off. All right. Thank you so much for joining us live. We're going to go let these girls meet and greet each other. We will see you soon from Hershey Road.